Hello from Finland. We are here and happy to present our research on perceptions of using electric and alternative food trucks among road haulage companies. I'm Kallionpaa.
And I'm Shiba Nair. We are from the Transport Research Center at Tampere University. Please note that by electric freight trucks, we mean battery electric trucks.
Please excuse me if I cough in between. We would be presenting some background information, our aim, findings, and our future research in this presentation. Due to targets set by the EU and Finland to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, the dynamics of the logistics industry has changed. Technology is moving towards sustainable options, such as use of vehicles powered by electricity, gas, and hydrogen. Conventional vehicles running on diesel or petrol are reducing. But what do the freight companies think of these targets and the change in the industry? Are they satisfied with the support being offered to achieve targets? Based on our initial research, we found out that freight companies perceive that diesel or petrol-powered trucks will be replaced in due time. This will be based on financial assistance provided, availability of charging options, technological aspects of the vehicle, and so on. Although electric and alternative fuel trucks have environmental benefits, or that electric freight trucks make no or low noise, there are several barriers to faster adoption of such vehicles. These include high purchase price, technological challenges like short driving range of electric freight trucks, lack of charging and refueling stations, and so on. Freight companies believe that in order to increase the adoption rate of sustainable transport options, all stakeholders of the ecosystem must work in synergy to conquer the barriers. The number of charging stations must increase. Deeper research should be done to overcome the technological challenges, and so on. Based on our initial research, we found that there is a research gap to provide an insight into user preferences or experiences of using electric or alternative fuel trucks as fleet vehicles. Therefore, our purpose of this study is to find out the current perceptions of road haulage companies on the deployment and the use of electric and alternative fuel trucks as fleet vehicles in Finland, both as a part of urban logistics operations and long haulage transport. Our aim is firstly to clarify and estimate the prospects about the willingness to invest in and to deploy electric and alternative fuel trucks, and secondly to investigate the possible barriers to invest in electric and alternative fuel trucks now and in the future. Through our research, we found answers to the questions on the topics of, firstly, the perceptions of road freight companies on electric and alternative fuel trucks. Secondly, the factors affecting the competitiveness of the use of these vehicles. Thirdly, the current barriers to and benefits of the deployment and the use of these vehicles. And lastly, some recommendations offered by road freight companies for accelerating the growth of the potential use of these vehicles. To find answers for our research questions, we combined an empirical, qualitative case study research and we complemented it with points recognized from literature. We interviewed 6 road freight companies in Finland using semi-structured questions. The interviewers were CEOs, directors of operations and development. These are some of the responses we received from the interviews. If transport companies have to pay for this environment change, then we face an impossible task. So it's really a challenging situation because even if one wants to invest in EFTs or AFFTs, it's still very foggy. It is entirely the case that no matter whether it is gas-powered or any other AFFD, if there is no infrastructure, then it is hard to be first ones to use it in transport operations. Of course, it is company brand and image thing. Innovation activity cannot be forgotten. I believe that the electric fleet will be in one form or another in future road freight transport. It is always dangerous in its own way to mess with the market economy, but on the other hand, tax decisions can also make a lot of progress. Biogas as a fuel is a good option, but can certainly remain an intermediate thing if electricity or hydrogen evolves into a good alternative fuel. Our findings are categorized based on the topics of the research questions. The freight companies believe that electric and alternative fuel trucks are environmental friendly and add brand value. Sorry. Some of the companies especially say that they use gas-powered trucks and have good experiences with it. Lack of charging stations and small driving range are the issues with electric freight trucks, whereas lack of refueling stations and maintenance and repair stations are the issues with alternative fuel trucks. They also believe that in the future, freight vehicles will be non-polluting and there will be no more trucks using fossil fuels. There will be many sustainable vehicle options for freight companies, such as those powered by electricity, cars, hydrogen, and biodiesel. The vehicles will be technologically more advanced, such as electric trucks with larger driving ranges. Companies would have also experienced the winters of the Arctic region, because currently the companies fear faster depletion of battery charge in electric trucks in those conditions. The next findings are for examining the factors that affect the competitiveness of electric and alternative fuel trucks. For gas-powered trucks, it was found that they are suitable for all types of transport operations, such as short distance, long distance, and urban deliveries. But for proper transport operations, these vehicles should be provided with widespread availability of refueling stations and maintenance and repair stations. For electric freight trucks, it was found that they are suitable for transport operations that are in the city, local, for pick-up and distribution work, and especially in the noise-free urban areas. But an issue with them is that they are heavier than diesel trucks due to battery, and this reduces the payload of electric freight trucks.
The barriers and the benefits of electric and alternatively fueled trucks were also collected during the course of these interviews. The barriers are lack of charging stations for electric freight trucks and refueling stations for alternatively fueled trucks, inexperience in maintenance and repair and lack of service stations, technological unsuitability of electric freight trucks due to its small driving range, willingness of the freight companies to invest is low due to the risks involved and the high price of vehicles, unknown resale value, and long waiting times for delivery of vehicles. The benefits are emissions-free during transport operation, environmental friendly, availability of purchase incentives in Finland. It is already available for gas-powered trucks and now it is proposed for electric freight trucks too. It improves brand image, which is in turn good for marketing and promotes corporate social responsibility. Some recommendations were offered by the freight companies to increase the adoption rates of electric and alternatively fueled trucks. They were directed towards the stakeholders of electric and alternatively fueled truck ecosystem. These are availability of technologically advanced, cheaper, and sustainable options of trucks, development of charging or refueling infrastructure, collaborative efforts of government, researchers, and manufacturers to understand the future course of action based on individual experiences from the past, provision of better policies by the government for purchase subsidy, tax benefits, and introduction of government-sponsored investment loans. In addition to this, the freight companies believed that the effective measures to increase the adoption rates of electric and alternatively fueled trucks are purchase subsidy, tax benefits, higher number of charging and refueling stations, research funding, and one common public database for customers with all relevant information about sustainable options of trucks. We noticed that the findings of this study mirrored the results we found from our initial research. The companies clearly supported the transition to the use of more sustainable vehicle options. But they are willing to invest in it only if they are economically viable and if the barriers mentioned earlier are conquered. Currently, the adoption of electric and alternatively fueled trucks in transport operation is a hot topic. Therefore, transport companies are following the technological development and waiting for technology to evolve to offer better solutions. It can also be summarized from the findings that electric freight trucks as sustainable vehicle options evoke both positive and negative emotions. It was also observed that gas-powered trucks are more widely used but are not forerunners in the zero-emission vehicle race. None of the companies want to be pioneers using electric and alternatively fueled trucks due to the barriers and the risk of uncertainty. A key point discussed by most of the companies was that there needs to be, firstly, a cooperative effort among the ecosystem stakeholders, and secondly, a commitment to a common goal and shared vision for the future. Transition and environmental goals cannot be carried on the shoulder of just the transport freight companies. Instead, they should be supported by the other ecosystem stakeholders also in order to achieve these goals together. In the future, we plan to take this research forward by conducting more interviews with a few more road haulage companies in Finland and also conduct a survey across Finland to delve deeper into the psyche of road haulage companies and to understand their perceptions of electric and alternatively fueled trucks. These are some of the literature we used. Thank you.
Kiitos. Please feel free to contact us through the details provided.